Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. We are once again here on the beta servers for chapter 4. This is now beta 3 and this update received both the new ships, the Mamba, which you can see right here, as well as the Krait Phantom. Now all eyes are on this for many players, but the question is just how good or perhaps how poor these ships actually are. Well, one thing that we can say right up front is that the Mamba certainly lived up to its appearance. It's rather manoeuvrable and rather fast. Now, although the Mamba is essentially a brand new ship, I see a lot of people are calling it a FDL variant. I can see where people are coming from with that comparison. After all, there are some, well, pretty similar elements to it. Look at the engines, look at the wingtips for example. But it's also a pretty unfair comparison because this is certainly very much its own ship. Now my build isn't fully optimized, not everything is engineered here, although most things are engineered out to a grade 5 or thereabouts. But it seems almost regardless of how you build it. You're going to be hearing those words over and over again, taking heat damage. Now this is a complaint I've seen on the forums, I've seen it on Reddit and I've seen it on Discord. Pretty much everywhere you see people talking about the Mamba, you hear people also talking about heat. It's almost as though the Mamba is its very own toaster oven. Of course there are ways to mitigate this somewhat with various modules and various engineer builds, but regardless you're still going to have a heat problem almost wherever you go and whatever you do. But more on that a little later. For now, let's focus on the interior of the ship. And personally, just as with the exterior of the ship, I'm absolutely in love with the interior of the ship. It screams class from every angle. Of course, your mileage may vary, but for me, this ship is very, very appealing. Now if you strip it right down and put in some light modules, get an FSD booster, and you'll find that you'll get a fairly hefty jump range, around about 30 light years. And whilst in this age of 70 to 80 light year jump range ships, 30 light years is very close to exploration builds of years ago. So if you were so inclined, you could indeed take the Mamba pretty much anywhere in the galaxy. People have done that in a Sidewinder after all. Now in terms of lore, the ship is famed for its focus on speed. You can see I've got a fairly average speed here, not too bad, but if you're to fully engineer this you can get a boost speed of well over 640 meters per second. And whilst it's certainly not the most manoeuvrable ship out there, it does range as one of the fastest. But there we are again with the heat problems. You'll see this again and again, regardless of whether you're using weapons or just repeatedly boosting. For me, it's the ship's biggest flaw. For you, it may be a different story. Then again, I'm not a fully focused combat pilot. Many people who have watched my channel for a while now will know that. Combat really isn't my thing with Elite Dangerous, but nonetheless, I do like to jump in and try it out from time to time. The Mamba certainly delivers in that regard, but even with its huge hardpoint on a medium-sized ship, there are still other ships out there that may be far superior for combat. If exploration is more your thing though, chances are that right here you may have found your new go-to ship with the Krait Phantom. I've got a fairly average build here. The frameshift drive is max rated for engineering, other modules are lightened up a little bit, and I very easily made 60 light years with this ship. I've seen a few other builds out there that get it well into the mid to high 60s, and one build that got it over 70 light years. Of course, the Krait Phantom, being a variant of the Krait Mark II, shares a lot of similarities. In particular, its interior is more or less essentially the same, but that's no bad thing, right? So to give the Krait Phantom a little bit of an exploration run, I brought us out here to the Maya system. Only a few hundred light years away and nothing by today's standards, but of course I remember trying to get here long ago in my Sidewinder and it took a very long time indeed. Nowadays it's just a few jumps away. Now whilst the ship is not quite as agile in Super Cruise as the Asp Explorer, it more or less exceeds the Asp in nearly every other way. So whilst the Krait Mark II certainly has a bit more feasibility in terms of technical capability, What the Phantom lacks, for example, the ship-launched fighter bay, it makes up for with jump range. Right from the very early days of Chapter 4 then, people have been asking where is the exploration ship in this exploration-focused update. So the question I'd like to pose to you is, do you feel that the Krait Phantom is the answer? For me, it's certainly looking that way. Now, you may have noticed throughout this video I've not spoken specifically about any builds, I've not shown off the outfitting screens, and for those of you who've been watching the channel for a while, you'll be well aware of why that is. I tend not to focus heavily on builds and other things such as that. For that type of thing, I'd highly recommend you check out some other YouTube channels. There's some very good ones out there that will give you everything you need to know regarding this stuff. For me, I love to get the feel for the ship, and then convey my impressions through the videos here. And one very good way for that is to come out here to these gorgeous ring systems and take a look at the wonderful new visuals here. So as you can see, the Krait Phantom is certainly not going to turn on a dime, but it's no slug either. And that's perhaps where the irony lays for me. The Mamba was my most anticipated ship of this update, but it turns out that the Krait Phantom may be my most used. So then, if you've had the opportunity to try out the two new ships, do let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.